You know that voice in your head, the one that whispers, who do you think you are? When you're about to hit publish on that business post, that LinkedIn article that you've thought so much about, that question that says they're going to find out that you do not know what you're doing right before that client call. Yeah, that voice. It's got a name, and it's called imposter syndrome. And if you're listening to this, chances are you two have already met. Welcome back to Freedom Found Podcast, the podcast for ambitious professionals like yourself who refuse to settle for just another paycheck when purpose is calling your name. I'm Coach Amy P, and I'm here to help you bridge the gap between where you are and the freedom-filled life you're meant to live. This is part of one of our 5-part series on the hidden challenges of entrepreneurship. You know, the stuff that nobody talk about. And that annoying, I made 6 figures overnight post that you probably see every single day of your life when you're consuming content. We're going behind the scenes to tackle the real struggle that keep purpose-driven professionals stuck in analysis paralysis instead of stepping boldly into their calling. Let's get into this episode.
You're looking for the freedom found.
Let me take you back to March 2019. I was sitting in my corporate office, staring at a business plan I'd been tweaking for the 3rd time in a row. I had the strategy, the market research. The logo was designed. I had talked to so many people. I was doing all the work. But every time I got close to launching my business, at this time, I think I was thinking about launching a coaching practice, that voice would pop up in my head. It would say, Amy, you never complete anything you start. Literally, this is a lie that has haunted me for years. It's like, you never complete anything. You never completed this. You never completed that. Who's going to pay you for your advice? That's the voice I kept hearing. And I remember calling one of my mentors, practically in tears, saying to her, I think I'm fooling myself. Like, I should just stay where I'm at. At least I know here on this job, I get a nice paycheck. They pay me a lot of money and I'm competent. I know what I'm doing. I'm doing good. Let me just stay on this job. And she said something to me that stopped me cold in my tracks. She said, Amy, you're not suffering from lack of ability. We all know you're talented. You're actually suffering from imposter syndrome. And the only cure, my friend, is action. That's what she said to me. And here's what's wild. While I was doubting my qualifications, I'd already helped so many people. I helped dozens of colleagues on my job, helped them navigate their career transitions. I led teams through major organizational changes, all the things. I had testimonials from people whose lives I'd impacted over and over again. I heard these stories, but imposter syndrome, it don't care. It don't care about your resume. It cares about keeping you small. That's what imposter syndrome does. So let me break this down for you. I want to get real scientific for just a hot second. Stay with me for a minute. I want to talk about what this thing actually is. Okay? Because imposter syndrome, research shows that it actually affects 70% of people at some point in their careers, according to a study, I think it's by International Journal of Behavioral Science. That means you're not broken. You're just human. We all deal with this. But here's where it gets interesting from a faith perspective. Let me go Bible real quick. In 1 Samuel 16, when Samuel is looking for Israel's next king, God, he didn't choose the obvious person or the obvious candidate. Who did he choose? He didn't choose the person that was tall, that was handsome, that was impressive. All those sons of Jesse, he didn't look at any of them. He actually chose David, the youngest one, the one tending the sheep in the backfield, the one everyone overlooked. Nobody thought that David would be the chosen one, right? And not by Jesus. He was the selected one at the time. And God says this powerful thing. He said, man looks at outward appearance, but God, he looks at the heart. Your imposter syndrome is actually focused on outward appearance. It's looking at your credentials, your experience, your track record, all that stuff. But God, he's looking at your heart. He knows your calling. He's thinking about your calling every time he speaks to you. And he's thinking about your willingness to step into what he's already prepared you to do. It's just a matter of whether or not you believe what he's already said about you. There's a little bit of reframing I want to help you do. In psychology, they call it cognitive reframing. Right? And there's this technique that therapists use for imposter syndrome. And it really aligns with scripture very well. And so instead of asking yourself, am I qualified? You need to ask yourself, am I called to do this work? Instead of, do I have enough experience? We need to ask ourselves, do I have enough obedience to take the next step. Recently, I want to go back a couple of weeks ago. I was triggered on my job by something that was said to me. And I immediately went in this whole response trying to defend who I was and the experience that I had. And the Lord softly, Holy Spirit reminded me like, hey, are you called or what? Like, you do not have to sit here and argue with someone that's trying to make you validate or prove your worth in a situation. I was easily triggered. This person said something to me. He was like, hey, show me the research. Tell me where it's at. And I'm like, I don't need to show you nothing. I don't need to show you the research. You know, imposter syndrome is always trying to affect people that are high performing. It's common in leaders. It's common in entrepreneurs. It's like if you're a first gen professional, like the first person in your family to actually work like a professional job or a corporate job where you're in these high demand roles, or you're a person that's constantly breaking barriers or something like that. Especially for me in my role, I actually work in a male dominant environment. And so I'm always having to pause for a second before I respond because there's just something in the atmosphere that's not like me. So look, what do you do if this is you, what do you do about all of this stuff, this drama that imposter syndrome will try to bring into your environment? I want to give you some practical steps, right? There are 3 things I want you to do, 3 action steps that you can actually take today to start like smashing imposter syndrome, because I'm so done with it. And I've actually practiced this myself. So everything I share with you is things that I've actually sat down and practiced myself. And so the first one is this, step 1, the evidence journal, right? For the next week, I want you to write down 3 pieces of evidence each day that prove you're more capable than your imposter syndrome wants you to believe. A compliment from a colleague, right? They may say something nice. Write that down. A problem that you actually solved. Write that down. A skill that you use on a daily. Write that down. When you're building a file against these lies, you need to write the things down so that you constantly can put the truth back in front of you. And so what I do, I open my phone. I have the notes app on my phone. Whenever something happens to me, even that situation that happened with my coworker when he said what he said, I left the room. I took a break. I had to write these things down because I noticed I was being triggered. And I was like, why am I being triggered? This is so silly. Like, I'm a whole adult. Why am I so offended right now? And it wasn't even him. It was just what he said to me. And I had to go and process what was said. So I wrote it down in my notes app. Yes, I do keep this running list of things that are in my head because I do not want to believe or fall for the lie. And so I want to teach you guys how to do that as well. So that's step 1. You want to start to keep a track record of these things so that you can reframe your mind. Okay. And that leads into step number 2, which is the reframe practice. When that imposter voice says, I don't know enough, you not enough, you don't know the answer, I want you to immediately reframe it to, oh no, I know enough to take the next step. When it says I'm not qualified, I want you to think about I'm qualified to be obedient and do what God has said to me. So those small shifts, it creates like massive impact every single time. Matter of fact, when that situation happened at work, I did a little bit of a deep dive to figure out what's a better response so that I don't, always come back with like some type of emotional response or seem like I'm offended all the time. I had to learn how to say, instead of I think, I said, I know. Like, it's not about me thinking. No, I know. And it's based on my experience. And in my research, I have found that X, Y, and Z works this way. And I'm open to hearing everybody else's experience in the room. It's not like I'm shutting people down, but I've had to learn how to respond with not I think or the ums and ahs. It's no, I know. And in my experience, this is what I've learned, right? And so try that for a season to see how that feels whenever you're responding in a situation where you may feel like you're not qualified or you may feel like you don't have the knowledge. You probably do have the knowledge. That's your imposter syndrome trying to show its face, thinking that, oh, I don't need to do these things because of whatever reason, right? Step 3, the daily declaration. Okay, every morning, you guys know this. Every morning, you need to look yourself in the mirror and say, God doesn't call the qualified. Okay, he qualifies the called. I am exactly where I need to be. He is going to put me exactly where I need to be to take the next step toward my purpose. He has qualified me, and I will not back down from whatever the challenges are that are going to come today. Tell yourself that every single day. Now, listen up real quick. Let me listen to me for just a second. I need you to hear this with all of your heart, your whole heart. That voice that's telling you that you're not enough, it's not your voice. It's not God's voice. It is not him. It's the voice of fear, and fear is a liar. Okay. You know what David had? when he faced Goliath, what did he have? He had a sling and 5 smooth stones. That's it. No armor, no sword. No military training. He just had what he had, just what God had given him, and the courage to use what was in his hands. Your sling and stones, it might be your corporate experience. It might be your natural, empathy to hear people out. It may be your problem solving skills or that fire in your belly that won't let you settle for the status quo. So stop waiting on someone to hand you a sword when God's already equipped you for battle. Just being real. The world doesn't need another perfect entrepreneur. We ain't out here trying to be perfect. It needs you with your unique combination of strengths, your experiences, your calling to step up and serve the people only you can serve. Right? So imposter syndrome, remember, it just wants to keep you in the audience. Like, it don't want you to be on the stage. But God is calling you there. That's where he's calling. He wants to make his name. We want to make his name great. He wants people to know who he is, and he uses his people to reach his people, right? So stop rehearsing your inadequacies and all that stuff in your brain and start walking in your authority. And by the way, if you haven't heard the song by Women Evolve Worship, it's called All Authority. Please go download that track right now. I've been listening to it on repeat. Go listen to it right now. It changes the game when you really do walk in authority, the authority that God has called you to. All right. Here's one bold truth I want to leave you with today. You don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You can tweet that. You really don't have to be perfect to be powerful. OK, if this episode hit home and you're ready to stop letting imposter syndrome steal your dreams, I want to help you. I really do. So head to my website. You can go to coachamyp.com and download the Confidence Kickstarter Kit. It's got journal prompts. It has affirmations. It's a step-by-step guide to really help you silence that inner critic for good. We're all learning how to do this. This critic, it's there. What you need to practice is how to reframe and get it out of your head. And if you're sitting there thinking, man, Amy, I need more than a worksheet. I need something else. I need someone in my corner who gets this, who gets the journey. I hear you. I know we all need a mentor. We all need a coach. And so I work with people just like you who are ready to stop playing these games, stop playing small, and start stepping into your calling. That's what I help you do. So if you want to explore what coaching could look like for your specific situation, I want you to book a 15-minute discovery call just to see if it's going to work out. See if I'm a good coach for you. I don't know. See if you're a good client for me. It needs to work both ways. There's no sales pitch, no pressure, none of that stuff. I'm just trying to be honest. Just an honest conversation about where you are, where you want to be, where you think you're going, and whether we're a good fit to work together. Okay. So if you're getting value from this series, do me a favor and subscribe to this channel. I want you to share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Don't keep this knowledge to yourself, because the best way to beat imposter syndrome, y'all want to know, is remember that your calling is bigger than your comfort zone. Okay. You're going to have to step out and do something different if you want to see change. You can't stay the same if you want change. Next episode, we're talking about facing fear and embracing failure as a stepping stone. Trust me, you do not want to miss it. So hit that notification bell so you get reminded, okay? Until then, keep choosing courage over comfort. This is Coach Amy P, and you're listening to Freedom Found Podcast. See you next time.